Well, hello, General Hospital Daily Recap fans. Today's daily recap is for Thursday, October the 17th, 2024. Thursday, October the 17th. If you have not done so already, subscribe to this YouTube channel. I'm on a race to 4,000. I have a lot of people who come back every day to watch my recap, and you haven't subscribed yet. So subscribe, please. Now let's dive right in. Today was a pretty good Thursday, right? For a Thursday. Alexis goes to see Jordan. Why, I don't know. To see what can they do to help Molly and TJ's relationship. And Jordan prevailed with the clear head, saying, Alexis, there's not anything we can do. They are adults. We know the statistics of couples that stay together after losing a child. A lot of them don't make it because they either grieve together or they grieve their way apart. And Alexis says, I know, I just thought. She goes, no, it's just, there's just nothing we can do. They have to work this out together. The only thing we could do is be there for them, support them. So Alexis agreed and she left. And I thought, Alexis, get out of here, please. So now we have Tracy. Tracy goes to see Cody and she lets her know that Sasha asked Michael for money. And Cody says, I didn't tell her, put her up to that. And Tracy says, she said you didn't, but I wanted to come and hear your side of the story. And so she asked Cody, and I want to hear it from you. Are you in trouble? Why do you need money? And he said, I wanted to buy Serenity, the place that, he grew up on. And Tracy even said her mother's name. You mean blah, blah, blah's estate? And he goes, yes. He goes, I have always wanted to someday own it and turn it into something good. And so Tracy says, okay, so why didn't you come to me? He said, I didn't want to be like all the other men that came to the Bank of Tracy. I didn't want to be like them because I'm not like them. And so Tracy, she said something and she goes, not all the men I were involved with were after my money. And she goes, oh, a lot of them were. And she said, she named them. And she goes, and the biggest scoundrel of them all was her Luke. Remember, Luke was out to get Tracy's money. And she says, but then we ended up, working together for a cause, a common cause. And then, it was kind of adventurous and fun. And then we became friends. And then we fell in love with each other. And Luke was the love of my life. So anyway, Cody says, Tracy, she goes, how much is the place? He said, it's 6 million. And she goes, ooh. He says, I was hoping I could get, like 10% down payment and maybe I could swing it. She goes, 10% down payment on 6 million. Do you know how much the interest on that loan would eat you? It would eat you alive. And he goes, yeah, you're right. And look, Tracy's gonna buy that place. Watch. She's gonna buy it and she's gonna give it to Cody. Or she's going to buy it and she's going to say, I want you to take care of this place for me. And if you do a good job, who knows, 5-10 years might be yours. She'll do something. Tracy is not going to let that property go. She's not for him because she's going to do it for him. And so as she's well, she didn't say that, get into that at all. That's just my prediction on what's going to happen. So as Tracy's leaving, Cody said something to Tracy. He ended up being like, Tracy, I consider you my friend. And Tracy kind of smiled and she walked out, which lets me know she's going to buy it because Tracy has a big heart and deep pockets. So, And plus, she's not going to pay cash for it. Tracy will get a very low interest loan. She'll pay a whole lot, put a big chunk down so that goodness is doable. Um, Holly ends up talking to, of course, what's her name? Sasha. And Sasha's like, why are you even here, mother? Oh, I saw, you were doing very well modeling. What are you doing here? And she goes, I'm the cook here and I'm working right now. What do you want? And she goes, I'm just coming to check in on you. She goes, you never come in and check in on me. And she goes, okay, so you're cooking for these people. Like, what's the angle? And she's like, there is no angle. I'm their cook. And she goes, do you do the dishes? Which is interesting. I don't think Sasha does the dishes. They probably have an assistant cook that does the dishes, right? Or they just don't talk about it because who cares? Who does it? Who cares who does the dishes? But anyway, Holly said, she goes, no, there is no con, mother. It's not always about the con. She goes, well, except there was that time when you took money from Valentine Cassadine to run a con on Nina Reeves. Or she may not have even said Nina's name, to run a con and pretend to be somebody's daughter. And Sasha just looked at her. And she goes, you know what? Still, I'm going to ask this very question. Why are you here? And she goes, I'm here because I have to help you. I have to warn you. You need to stop seeing this Cody Bell. And Sasha's like, wait, what? What do you mean stop seeing Cody Bell? He was there for me when I was at my lowest. He rescued me from a mental facility where I was being drugged by a doctor, and she said something about Holly as to you've never been there for me. You left me in Landview, which is the first time they brought up Landview. And she even said a name that I didn't recognize. And so came in and she pretty much rescued me or saved me or took care of me, not you. Well, Ethan was in trouble. She goes, Ethan is always in trouble. Always. And so Holly goes, you've landed on your feet. See, that was said like a true woman with motherly instincts. You landed on your feet. What more do you want? Okay, I wasn't a good mother. She ends up telling her, she goes, why is it you feel I shouldn't, see Cody? Because I'm going to. And she goes, because he's your cousin. And she goes, that's impossible. There is no way he could be my cousin. She said, that's because you're Robert Scorpio's daughter. And so she goes, well, you're lying. For one, that's 100% a lie. Because why would you not tell Robert that you had a daughter? And so she goes, well, we ended up not working out between Robert and I left. And, then 12 years later, I couldn't show up on his door with a 12-year-old daughter. Now, mind you, that means Ethan would have been probably 13 or 14 because I did a little history digging. Robert married Holly to keep her from being deported. Holly was pregnant with Ethan. Luke was presumed dead, which means Sasha came after Ethan. Sasha is a year or two after, behind Ethan, right? So she goes, and I couldn't. She goes, oh, of course you couldn't. Because, he had been let down before by Anna. And, he didn't know Robin was here. And so she goes, but you know what? He and Anna are just fine. You absolutely could have told him that I existed. You could have told me who my father was. You told me my father was dead. And so she goes, you know what? I don't believe you. I don't know what your game is, what your angle is, what kind of con you trying to get me involved in, but you know what? I'm not buying it and I'm out of here. So she goes storming out the front door and Tracy's coming back in and she almost runs Tracy over, right? And Tracy's like, and then she goes, well, look who the cat drug in, Holly Sutton. And so she's like, why are you here? And talking to my cook of all people, Tracy. And so she's like, oh, I just came by to say hello. Tracy's like, girl, please, you better tell them lies to somebody else. She didn't say that, but that's the way that look was, because you did not come by to say hello to anybody in this house, let alone me. You've been in Port Charles way too many times in the last 5 years to now all of a sudden want to just say hello? No, right? So Holly ends up leaving. Sasha goes to Cody to the what is it? The barn. It's not a barn. It's a what do they call the horse where they keep the horses? Whatever. Horse house. That's where he was. So he's like, Sasha, Tracy tells me, Tracy tells me that you asked Michael for money. You know I didn't ask you to do that. And so Sasha just looks at him and runs like in his arms and gives him the biggest kiss. And she's kissing him and like a real passionate kiss. And his hands kind of go down there to a little behind. And as soon as he touches her butt, she moves his hand and she jerks back and she goes, I'm sorry. And he goes, what's wrong? And she goes, I left the souffle in the oven. I forgot. I'm sorry to do this to you. I'm sorry. I'll make it up to you. And he's like, okay, you coming back? He goes, you're coming back later, right? And she says, I'll try, right? Now she knows there could be some truth to this. And if there isn't, I mean, she's got to find out because she loves Cody. They're freeing her up for Michael. That's exactly what they're doing. Freeing. Oh, my brain kept working on the horse house, y'all. He was at the stables. I knew I would get it. Stables. so so that is when Michael finds out about Willow, he's gonna seek comfort in Sasha. And I always liked Sasha and Michael together. I really did. I both times they were together, I liked them two together. So that was that. TJ and Molly, they talk. Molly's looking over the Ava Jerome case. And TJ said, wait, you're not on that case. What are you doing? She goes, I'm just overseeing what they're doing. He's like, are you supposed to be doing that? He's like, Molly, don't do nothing to jeopardize the case. She goes, I'm not. I have a colleague friend of mine has this case. I'm not interfering. I'm just checking things out. Interfering, Molly, interfering. But anyway, so they both end up being on the same page that bottom line, they blame Christina. She should have never went over there to Ava's apartment. I think everybody blames Christina for that. But if there were no Ava in the equation, Christina wouldn't have gone out the window. Because one thing TJ said, he said, when I talked to Ava's story, it did make some sense to me. And Molly says, but you can't believe what Ava says. He says, oh, I know. He says, but after some time and weighing what was said, it is because of Ava that Christina went out the window. He said Christina did not push herself out the window. Because Molly's like, if I'm questioned as to what I would say, about the situation, about Christina, I'm going to definitely say that, yes, my sister should not have been there. However, she didn't push herself out the window. And so she goes, what are you going to say? And that's when he said what he said. But they're both on the same page. And she's like, oh, I'm so happy that we're on the same page. We haven't been on the same page in a long time. And he says, yeah, I know. I know. And I'm thinking, Matt, Molly, you happy because he's going to say what you want him to say. Let's say his heart wanted him to say something else. Would you be that happy, Molly? No, you wouldn't. You're happy with TJ when TJ is giving you exactly what you want. So now we have Rick. Rick is at the Port Charles Grill with Ava. They're having dinner and drinks, and Christina walks in. Oh, and Christina walks over. And oh, Christina has to make a scene. And Rick is like, Christina, you're making a scene. And he's little needling her under sly needles. She goes, no, you are sitting here. I don't know how Molly can forgive you for defending the woman that killed. I would be home right now holding my baby if it weren't for her. And Rick says, you do mean Molly's baby. You supplied the egg, you were the surrogate, but the agreement was you were having this baby for your sister and TJ so she could have the family she always wanted. Wasn't that the case? And she goes, well, anyway, my Adela would still be alive had Ava, not. And Rick said, whoa, whoa, for one thing, my client is innocent of intentionally pushing you out a window, Christina. It was an accident with all accounts. So she goes, no, because of her, my Adela is dead. And so he goes, well, actually, the fault of why Irene is dead is because you went to Ava's hotel room. You were the aggressor. I was not. He goes, oh, whoa, 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 lower your voice, Christina. See, because Alexis, Ava's like, Christina, everybody's looking. I don't care. Evan, she's looking at everybody, and everybody can look at me. You killed Connie Falconeri. You killed my brother Morgan. You killed my daughter. And Rick said, you know what, Christina? Mm, you need to get a hold of yourself. You don't tell me what I need to do. And Alexis comes in. Christina! Christina stops and she looks at her mother. See, that Christina, I'm telling you, they need to have her committed 100%. They need to have that child. She ain't a child, that grown woman, she's 30. They need to have her evaluated 100%. And so she comes over to Christina and she goes, what are you doing? I am here talking to her. She goes, no, no, you know what? No, no, no. Matter of fact, we're leaving. We're leaving right now. No, I'm not. Yes, you are finished here. We are leaving. So she takes Christina's arm and she's headed to the door. And Rick says, oh, Alexis, by the way, congratulations on a gun miraculously appearing to get you out of jail. And Alexis just looks at Rick like, yeah, shut up, Rick. So she goes out the door and she says, Christina, what on earth were you doing? I was just setting things straight. Ava, she goes, no, no, what you were doing, Christina, you were making Rick's case for him. And Christina just looks at her mother. You were volatile and you created a scene in front of a restaurant full of witnesses that he is going to get statements on. So when he is defending Ava, arguing her case, it's not going to be hard for him to prove Who's the aggressor? And Christina just looks. She goes, you are your own worst enemy. You are doing the most damage to yourself. Just stop it. Can you keep it together? Not get yourself in trouble. Can you do that, Christina? And she just looks at her mother. And then inside, Rick is gloating to Ava, saying that hey, Ava says, wow, that was a scene. He goes, yeah, went according to plan. And she goes, you set this whole thing up? How could you do that? And so he says, well, I called Molly to see if Molly could have dinner with me tonight. And Molly says, no, she was going to stay home. And no, she says, no, she couldn't. So I said, oh, what? You going to go have dinner with your mom? And she told me, no, I'm staying home. Mom is having dinner with Christina at the Port Charles Grill. He says, Christina has always been volatile. I knew exactly what to say and to push her buttons. He says, and I'm going to tell you something, Ava. When I get Christina on the stand, I'm going to destroy her. And Ava looked at Rick and she goes, no wonder why your brother hates you. And I thought, and you know what? Rick is definitely going to be able to do it because Christina she cannot keep her emotions in check. Just like Sonny cannot keep his emotions in check when he's not on his medication. Well, Christina's never been on the medication so that she could be a rational thinker because she is bipolar, I'm telling you. So, that's that. And honestly, Ava should get off. She did not push Christina out the window. Yeah, it was, but it was an accident. And Christina is not even allowing herself. Ava took back the statement that Kate's forced her to make. But Christina, because she doesn't want to really live with her own guilt and blame and her part in this. She doesn't. But she knows that was an accident. She knows she was the aggressor in the whole thing. So last but not least, which was a little, kind of emotional, they tell the kids that Sam is the donor. Everybody's happy, but Scout's worried. And Scout's like, but would you be okay, mommy? And she goes, yes, I would. For me, all they're going to do is take a piece of my liver and they're going to put it in Lulu so it can help her. And the thing about a liver, when a piece is cut off, it grows back. So she goes, really, mommy? She says, yeah. In time, you never know I gave up a piece of my liver. She says, but are you going to be hurt? Will the operation hurt? She goes, the operation itself won't hurt, but after the operation, I will be sore. I will be a little sore while I'm healing. And so Dante says, so we all are going to be on our best behavior. We're going to help her. And they're all like, yeah, we're going to give you everything you want. We're here to help. Everybody was here to help. So Scout decides, okay, mommy, when you're feeling better, we're going to have a party. So, they're having a party. Scout says DJ and I think she said disco balloon or whatever she said, you know. So they're like, well, oh, goodness, don't get too expensive with it, but okay. So they're all hugging it out as a family. And I said, look, that right there is the last time they're going to all be together like that, holding on to each other. That made it kind of sad. That made that kind of sad for me because let's face it, Lulu's transplant is in 2 days. So, yeah, yikes. Sam won't be here next week. Or she'll be in a car, I don't know how they're going to do it. But anyway, we know she's not going to survive the transplant. So that was it, everybody. That was it. I'll be back tomorrow. Hey, look, comment corner. 153 comments. You all were on fire with Comment Corner. Excellent, excellent job. Keep it going. That's so many comments, I can't even touch them. But excellent job. Keep those comments coming because it's the comments that is what's keeping our community. That's what sets the GH Daily Recaps apart from the others. Yes, all the others, don't get me wrong, they do have comments, but I love the back and forth that you all have with each other. And what does make it is when I read your comments aloud, but it's just with that many, there's no way I could even put a little handle on that. So thank you so much, everybody. Thanks for the comments. Keep them coming. Comment on today's episode just as much. And what I might do is just do a little comment corner on Saturday. If there's as many comments tomorrow as there is today, I'm just going to take some time Saturday and just read a half hour worth of comments. How's that sound? Half hour worth of comment corner, just to throw it in so you all can hear what each other said to each other. I think that sounds good. But if it's enough, I mean, if the comments are smaller, but I'm not advocating for smaller comments. I want the comments to keep growing and growing. That's engagement. YouTube, the algorithm loves the engagement. So keep it coming. Keep those comments coming. I'll be back tomorrow for another daily recap of General Hospital.